I'm in a county famed for its wild beaches and majestic castles. As you can see, nowhere else do they sit together quite so magically as the scene here. Which corner of the country am I in? Join me in a moment to find out. Today, we're helping a farmer's daughter and her partner find a country escape. You're looking longingly at those sheep.
Yes, I was just hoping that paddock was an added bonus.
Even though we show them some great country homes, this house hunt is all about acreage.
Well, I think the most negative part of this property is the land.
But we turn a negative into a positive. Is there a little smile there?
Yes, yeah, that's really good. It is really good, a big plus.
Today, I'm in Northumberland, and this is magnificent Bamborough Castle. There's been a fortification on this site since at least 547 AD, and the ground here has borne witness to Saxon kings, Viking raiders, Norman lords, and countless battles over the past 2,000 years. And looking at the surrounding countryside, it's little wonder that the castle's residents have fought so hard to keep it just the way it is. From rolling pastures to castles presiding over craggy, windswept coastlines, Northumberland is the most northern English county and is the gateway to Scotland. Today it's peaceful, but Northumberland has more castles than any other county in England, testament to a bloody history. From Bamborough to the likes of Alnwick Castle, this often fought over land has a rich and colourful background. But there's much more to Northumberland than ancient border skirmishes. It's one of England's largest counties, with 405 square miles of national park to explore. But for those that live here, the stone-built houses are akin to their Scottish neighbours. Sandstone is the characteristic building material, historically used in everything from the grandest wind-worn castles to the most modest farmhouses. No doubt about it. Stunning scenery, unspoilt beaches, a national park, and its very own World Heritage Site in Hadrian's Wall, Northumberland has plenty going for it. So it may then be a surprise to learn that with an average detached home here costing £250,000, it's slightly cheaper than the national average at £258,000. So if being tucked away in this secluded corner of the country appeals, here's a selection of what's on the market right now. At just under £1.3 million, this imposing 7-bedroom Edwardian house in Riding Mill should satisfy both the snooker-playing country gent and those that like a spacious kitchen. There are options aplenty, with huge bedrooms, large reception rooms and a sunny terrace for your summer soirees. This is country life at its best. Set peacefully in the middle of landscaped private gardens, this 5-bedroom property is on the market for £695,000 and has been updated to make the most of the generous interior. With a fresh modern take on the dual aspect kitchen diner, the property comes with good-sized living rooms and bedrooms, and outside there's a lawned, mature garden. For those that like something a little less imposing, this £350,000 barn conversion has an open-plan kitchen diner with exposed beams showing off the full height of the ceiling. The feature fireplace sets off the living room, and the 4 bedrooms are finished off beautifully. Stunning Northumberland is a county we don't get to visit as much as I'd like, so it's a real pleasure to be here this week. Let's meet the couple who brought us to this glorious corner of the country. This week, we're helping ex-dairy farmer Linda and her partner John, who's on a year-long career break. They met 18 months ago at a food fair and are currently living in John's 2-bedroom flat in this converted school in Yorkshire.
I'm a farmer's daughter. I've been in farming all my life. I really miss it. I miss the outdoor life, the space, my animals, my dogs. Whilst moving in with John has changed my life completely, but living in the apartment is just too restricting.
But with so many areas of beautiful countryside to choose from, what attracts Linda and John to Northumberland?
Just such a beautiful area. And Linda, when I took her up there, just fell in love with the place.
But family ties can be a stumbling block, and with 4 children between them living in Ripon, they don't want to be too remote for when the family come to stay.
It will be a wrench, but after all, Northumberland's only an hour and a half up the motorway, so it's not the end of the earth. And if we could find the ideal property, then it would be a good opportunity for them all to come up and spend time with us in the holiday season.
So they certainly need space to cater for the extended family when they visit. But are there any other must-haves?
What we want is a reasonable sized house with 3 bedrooms, good sized kitchen and decent living area.
That seems reasonable, but do they need any land?
4 or 5 acres would be a nice amount for the few cattle that I would like. I have bred my cattle up to a pretty good standard in the past, and I was well respected within the farming industry.
So grazing space for the cattle is a must, but it doesn't stop there.
Reasonable location, close to the beach if possible, and close to road links.
Linda and John are cash buyers and will be hanging on to the apartment in Yorkshire, but that still leaves us with one question. How much do they have to spend?
If we find our ideal home, our maximum budget would be £450,000.
Having been together for 18 months, John and Linda are starting an exciting new chapter in their lives. Hopefully, we'll be able to help them realise it. They dream of a detached property with 3 bedrooms, a large kitchen, plenty of living space and a good-sized garden, all within 10 miles of the sea. The reality is, with Linda's longing for land for her cattle, for their budget of £450,000, something might have to give. Will we be successful in keeping man, woman and beasts happy? Let's find out. We'll be focusing our search between Alnwick in the north down to Newcastle, hugging the coastline as much as we can for their walks on the beach. We've got some fantastic properties for John and Linda's consideration, but I'll be keeping tight-lipped about the prices. And then we have the Mystery House, a property that promises to challenge their idea of a dream home in the country, but will certainly give them food for thought. Well, John and Linda, welcome to Northumberland. And you must be both very excited because this is the first property that you've bought together.
Yeah, we are very excited.
Yeah, very excited. Just looking forward to seeing what you've got for us and, taking it from there.
Now, apart from John, I know you love your cattle.
Yes. Yeah.
So the balance is house for you two or land for the beasts? Which one's going to win, do you think, the battle?
Well, I think it'll be really hard not to have one without the other. But if the house is right and there was an option to rent or something that was close by, then you would certainly look at something like that.
And your budget, still £450,000?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
OK then, right, well I think we should get started, we've got a lot to see.
Great,
That'd be
looking forward to
great.
it.
Thank you.
So for a top budget of £450,000, Linda and John want a detached property with at least 3 bedrooms. A large kitchen diner is a must for entertaining, and outside they'd like up to 5 acres of land, so Linda can have a few head of cattle. John needs good transport links to Newcastle for work, and they both want to be near the coast for those leisurely walks on the beach. We're starting our search a few miles from the village of Mitford. Just a 30-minute drive from Newcastle and the beach, it's the perfect location for John and Linda. Mitford itself is home to just 500 people and has plenty of period charm. Linda and John can enjoy a quiet meal in the local pub when they need a break from feeding the livestock. And in keeping with the farming theme, our first property is in the farming belt, just 4 miles outside the village. Here's your first property.
Yep.
It's obviously a barn conversion. Looks very nice. Not sure whether it's going to be dark in there. Small windows, but we shall see what's inside.
It's actually converted in 2004
Right.
by the local farm, and there's 8 buildings in total, and they've all been converted.
Yeah.
So it's relatively new.
Very pleasant around here, very pleasant. Very secluded. I like it.
Good.
Although John seems keen, I'm not sure about Linda, but I'll be disappointed if the inside fails to impress.
So come on through into the hallway. You've got flagstone storage and a downstairs cloakroom, but I want to lead you straight into the kitchen. What do you think?
A bit smaller than I was expecting, to be honest.
Yeah, well, because of the entertaining we do need a reasonable sized kitchen. It's nicely fitted. They're obviously very good units, and it has potential, but you can work around things.
This is a large kitchen, so I'm a little surprised at Linda's reaction. Maybe she'll be more impressed with the living space.
Here's your sitting room.
Oh, this is lovely. Nice.
Oh, this is nice.
Yes,
I
very
do
nice.
like this.
I like
Good
the open
size.
aspect again in the top, which when you look from the outside, it looks as if we were probably going to have the eaves factor, but this is very nice.
I like the fact that there's more windows on this side as well, because it lets a lot more light in.
And we're not seeing it on a particularly
No, I was just going
bright
to
day.
say, and it's dark outside, exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like it.
Off the sitting room is a small and compact study, and next to that is this modern flagstone bathroom. But we're heading off to see where the family will stay when they come to visit.
This is the first of the 3 bedrooms, and it's actually an ensuite, but it's not the master, you'll be pleased to know.
No, very small for the master, which makes me feel why have an ensuite for what is virtually a single bedroom.
No, I think it's all right, actually.
Okay.
I think it's got potential. I think you could do things with it.
So John, you sound sold on this, but Linda, 50-50?
No, I just feel this is just a single bedroom, and other than bunk beds, I couldn't see. I think you're going to struggle with a double in here.
I thought the space here would be ample for occasional guests, but there is another small double next door, and the master suite at the end of the hallway is sure to impress.
So here's the 3rd largest bedroom, the master.
This is a better size.
Yeah, much better.
And you've got the shower room next door as well.
That's nice.
Your ensuite.
Yes,
Excellent.
that's nice. Yep.
It's pleasant, it's quiet, nice aspect out the windows.
And the most important thing is you're both happy, because
Yes.
you're going to be here all the time. Your
Yeah.
guests
Yes, yeah.
will come and go.
That's right.
No, this is a really nice room. I like this room.
So we've seen the property, now to the all-important land.
That's what I've been waiting for.
I'm not sure this lovely barn conversion has impressed Linda, although John can certainly see the potential. With an open, manicured garden, the setting is idyllic, but the land is a little under an acre, which does include the footprint of the house.
So this fence is the very edge of your property. So this is the 1 acre paddock cum garden.
Right, so...
You're looking longingly at those
Yes,
sheep.
I was just hoping that paddock was an added bonus.
Yeah, it would have been ideal if that had been in with the price. That would have put a whole different aspect on the...
Yeah, if there was an option to rent, then it's certainly a possibility.
The good news is there is an option to rent.
Oh, right.
The better news is there's also an option to buy.
All right.
Right.
Oh,
2 acres behind us that you've been lusting after.
That's a big surprise.
We spoke to the farmer,
Right.
and he is prepared to sell. Now, obviously, we can't negotiate on your behalf, so he didn't talk price.
Right.
Okay.
But he is happy to sell or to rent the 2 acres. Was there a little smile there?
Yes, yeah, that's really good. It is really good. A big plus, yeah.
Well, let's see if the price is going to make you smile or
Okay.
not, because it's that time. Guess the price.
I think because of the location and because the land's only about an acre and a half, the house needs a little bit of updating. I'm going to go for about 410.
Okay.
I won't go an awful lot above you, but I will go to 425.
Okay. The current asking price for the barn conversion is £445,000. So just under your budget.
Yep.
But the reason we wanted to show you this property, and we think it's worth considering, is one,
yes.
it is so close to Newcastle.
Yes,
it's
it
a
is, very
commutable
close,
distance,
yeah.
so that's reflected
Yeah.
in the price.
Yeah.
You do have a lot of land with the option behind
Taking
us
it.
as well to buy.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you take a wander back inside and I'll catch up with you a little bit later on.
Okay,
Good.
thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Well, that was a bonus at the end. I think having the potential to buy this land from the local farmer could make all the difference.
Well, I think the barn conversion has been a rather stable start to our tour. At £445,000, it's only just under budget. It's close to Newcastle and the beach. The property boasts 3 bedrooms, 2 with en-suites, a formal garden and the option to extend the land by up to 2 acres. So, what do they make of it all?
Definitely think this is the best room in the house, the sitting room.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you think the rest of the house is too small?
I'm still a bit apprehensive about the bedrooms.
I think the house has got potential. The positives of the garden, which are absolutely fabulous.
I think the added bonus of having the land is a real plus. So it balances out the house size.
So are you both happy? Have you seen enough?
Yep, great, thank you.
Good, okay, we'll keep going.
Okay.
Okay.
The coveted landscape of Northumberland is framed by its breathtaking scenery. As far back as Roman times, the now English-Scottish border stood witness to at least 2,000 years of conquering and pillaging. The architecture of warfare still remains. Alnwick Castle is just such a place, with the earliest parts of the castle built in the 12th century. It was the first Lord Percy of Alnwick in the early 1300s that created the castle you see today. And through the years, the Percy family have retained ownership. But it's the recent Duke and Duchess of Northumberland that have really helped to restore the castle and the surrounding gardens to their former glory. To find out more, earlier in the week, John and Linda met Ian August, who has 50 years of service to the castle under his belt, serving 3 different dukes.
I believe the family still live here.
This is the Duke's main residence, yes. But this time of the year when it's open to the public, he moves to another residence he has in the borders. But the winter time he spends at Alnwick Castle.
But the castle isn't all about the past. The day-to-day running of the Duke's considerable estate still needs to be managed.
This is the head office for that
What
that
sort of
business.
acreage is that?
Well, in Northumberland, it's about 120,000 acres.
Gosh.
Yes. And
I'm looking for 4 or 5. You don't have 4 or 5 spares.
I'm sure they'll be able to find 4 or 5.
Despite Ian's generous offer, this country estate may be a little over John's budget. Heading inside the castle, there is a strong Renaissance influence. Oversized pictures adorn the walls of the rooms, leading to the grandiose formal dining room still in use today. In the past, the castle has been used as a location in feature films such as Harry Potter and Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Over the last 10 years, the Duchess commissioned formal gardens to complement this imposing structure, complete with a magnificent fountain and possibly one of the largest tree houses in the world. With these modern formal gardens and the castle's long and often bloody history, this is arguably the most famous landmark in the area, a place to bring the family for a visit when John and Linda do make the break for the country. Back to the house hunt, and just a stone's throw from the castle is the town of Alnwick. Only 15 minutes from the coast and about 30 miles from Newcastle, this market town is one of the most picturesque in Northumberland. With a long history of farming in the area, Linda will be in good company. Our next property is one of 4 Victorian terrace cottages built for railway workers, and it takes full advantage of this fabulous outlook.
I think it's only fair to bring you to see this side of the property, and then you really get to appreciate not just this cottage, but the surrounding countryside as well.
It's absolutely amazing.
And also, it's so deceiving because that's the original cottage. Then it was extended about 8 years ago, and then a further extension was done on that side and that side about 2 or 3 years ago.
Right.
So although it's attached to the cottage behind it, it's actually been done so that you wouldn't even know you had
No.
neighbours,
Yeah.
and they
No.
make the most of everything around it.
them.
The view is just stunning.
Well, it's still a bit breezy out here, so
It
let's
is.
take you for a tour of the house, and then we'll come back outside and look at the gardens in more detail.
Okay.
Brilliant.
Apart Apart from being a pretty cottage, this does have more space than the last property, so I'm hoping that being on the end of a terrace won't become an issue.
So you've gone past the utility room, and at the end there's a shower and a toilet at the very end of it, and this is your dining room stroke kitchen.
Oh,
Right.
that's interesting.
Like this. This is really nice.
Got an open fire.
Yep.
Now that range is an original range.
Okay.
And they do use it in the winter.
Right.
Because this cottage is packed with original features. But just standing here looking into the kitchen, that is the original wall from the cottage, which they've left as a feature. Now, cottages. You wanted a cottage that wasn't small and pokey.
Yes.
Yes.
So far,
Well, this
so
is-
good.
Oh no, this isn't a cottage.
isn't.
This is a proper house.
This looks like a proper house, yeah.
Yes.
This is lovely.
And this is just one part of it. Let's show you the kitchen, because I know that's got to be right for you.
Good.
What do you think?
Small.
Yes, I was going to say the same thing.
You could always swap
Sorry.
them around.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly the same.
Yes,
You could
yeah.
actually take your kitchen over that side and have this as a sitting area or your dining area. I think would be much better.
I must say, I'm really enjoying John's can-do approach. The kitchen flows through to a gorgeous little snug, perfect for curling up on a chilly northern evening.
So if that's the snug, this has to be your sitting room.
Yeah, this is more like
This is
it.
more like this. Is
Yeah.
lovely. It is. Really like this.
You'd probably spend many days in here.
And you like the log burner?
Yes.
Yes, love it.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And they
It's very
really
good.
have made the most,
Yes, they
haven't
certainly
they,
have.
of the position.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they made the most of the views. The views are just wonderful.
I'm feeling very buoyant.
Yeah, it's very
Very
good. I like
nice.
this place.
Yeah,
Well,
lovely.
let's hope you feel the same about upstairs.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, if you want to follow me.
Okay.
Back through the snug, the stairs to the first floor lead to a very light family-sized bathroom and 3 good-sized double rooms, so guests and grandchildren will be well catered for. But the accommodation doesn't stop there, because up one more flight of stairs to the converted loft is a space I'm hoping John and Linda are going to love.
We are at the very top of the house
Goodness me.
Wow.
for your master.
Yes. Gosh, this is different. A whole floor.
Normally I don't like anything in the eaves because I'm constantly ducking, but at least this does have some height.
And when you've got all your grandchildren and guests,
Yes.
this could be your sanctuary.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Might need it.
Off the bedroom and through the dressing room, there's even more.
And the dressing room leads into this.
Wow. This is something you did not expect.
This is fabulous.
Fabulous bath.
Can we get over the eaves?
Oh, yeah,
I think
so. Yeah, you've got the
Yes.
space to...
And you've got lots of light coming in as well, so it doesn't feel claustrophobic in any way. And that's a great bath.
Beautiful.
You can imagine lying in there watching the stars on a night time. It would
Yeah.
be wonderful.
So far, so good. Time to head into the garden to see if the outside space measures up.
So here are your gardens. Obviously been laid to lawn.
Yep.
And I know gardening's important, especially to
Yep.
you, John.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
very
it's
good.
really nice.
The garden is not laid out the way I would lay it out, but that can be done and it's a project.
What
So,
about a vegetable patch?
Yeah, vegetable patch are very much what we're looking for.
This property also comes with an acre, which as we drove along the track just before the cottages started, that was an acre of land.
Okay.
Right.
That is the only land attached
Right,
to this
right.
house.
Okay.
It's a big
Right.
drawback not having
Yes.
something on your doorstep.
So it does bring us to guess the price. So you've seen the property, you know it does have an acre of land.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
So you
How
go
much is it
first this time.
430 on this one because the house has had a lot more updating.
I think the house, because it's an end terrace, I'll go 415 on this one.
It's 1-1.
Is it?
Great.
The asking price for this house, and it has only just gone on the market,
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
is £385,000.
Oh, wow.
wow.
Big difference.
Oh, that's a big difference.
£65,000
Yeah.
change from your top budget.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a big surprise.
Well, it is,
a lot
actually.
of house in there for that money.
Well, you like this house, so why don't you go and take another look around and have a think?
Okay.
Okay.
Because you never know, you might be able to get a feel not too far away for your cattle. And with £65,000 still in your purse,
Yes, yes.
that's quite a few acres.
something to certainly think about.
All right,
Okay,
go and enjoy. I'll
thanks
catch
very
up with you
much.
later.
Thank you.
At a very reasonable £385,000, the price is way under budget, although land may be a problem. With 4 bedrooms, a large kitchen diner and 2 reception rooms. It also has an acre of land attached, and the location provides great transport links via the A1 into Newcastle, and it's only 15 minutes from the coast.
My favourite bits of the house were, of course, the living room, which I thought was stunning. I loved the aspects out of the main doors leading onto the garden, that you could open them up in the summer and have the outside come inside.
The room in the eaves was something very different, and I could see that actually working. I'm not a lover of eaves, but its situation, the fact that it was on a floor on its own, allowed us to have our families here at a time so that they'd have their own space and we would have our own space. Well, I think the most negative part of this property is the land.
Yeah, it'd be fine for the chickens, but it wouldn't be any good for the cows.
No, not at all.
You checked out the acre of land?
We have.
Yes.
But you're wishing it was 5 acres now,
I
aren't you?
surely do.
Come on then.
As the sun sets across Northumberland, John and Linda have plenty to consider. But next up on our hunt for a Northumbrian home with land, we have our old friend, the Mystery House.
Go on, Linda, say it. Say you quite like it, please.
No, I do quite like it, yeah. It's got lots of potential.
And that's just the land. Wait till they see inside.
I thought you said a little bit of work, Nicki.
In our search to find John and Linda their first home together, yesterday it became clear that land, and lots of it, is perhaps more of a driving factor than we first thought, especially for farmer's daughter Linda. The fact is, to buy a house with serious acreage on their budget, well, something has to give. Today, the mystery property is certainly going to test how flexible they can both be. Trying to get sort of all the elements of the move right. You know, is there anything there that you're willing to sort of compromise? Is something going to give so that at least you can get nearly everything right for the both of you?
I think we're both willing to compromise slightly on the house in terms of that it may need some work done on it.
Well, that is excellent news, as the mystery property may require a little TLC. Just over 40 miles from Newcastle in the west of the county is the heart of the Northumberland National Park, and that's where you'll find the parish of Tarset, with a population of just under 200 people. Famed for the hardy Tarset Hill lamb, it's historically a farming community, which should suit Linda, and land is also readily available, which is one of the reasons we've picked this little gem.
So, here is your mystery property. I actually should say 2, because it is in fact 2 cottages. What do you think?
Well, it's obviously not detached as what we were looking for, so we're going to have neighbours.
Well, you're right, there are 2 cottages here.
Okay.
Both were owned by the same family,
Right.
and these 2 cottages come together for sale.
Okay. Oh, that's a nice surprise.
So I can say to you, no
So
neighbours.
it could
That's all right.
become one big detached cottage.
It could become one big detached house. Yeah.
Right.
So
Not
now
too
we know
bad.
that you don't have neighbours.
No, it's a lovely looking property.
It is, it's beautiful looking
It's
property, actually.
beautiful. Sandstone, you've got the blue slate roof.
Yes.
I mean, it is impressive. It
needs-
is very
needs
attractive.
some work, but you could turn it into something really, really nice.
John, I'm liking what I'm hearing here. It does need a little bit of work, but let's go around the back and show you what there is there first of all before I take you inside the house. Come on.
Okay.
Brilliant, thanks.
Part of the problem with the areas that John and Linda have been looking at is the cost of land. But in West Northumberland, land can be up to 50% cheaper than coastal regions. So hopefully Linda will be able to have her cows after all.
So just take a look around you, because we are in the centre of the Northumberland National Park.
Spectacular views.
It is
is.
absolutely stunning.
So stunning.
You think you're miles away from anywhere, but there's little houses, hamlets just in the distance.
Just standing here and looking around, you know, after you'd admired the view,
Yes.
you can actually see the boundary to this property.
Okay.
Because the cottages between them have 13 acres of land.
All right.
Dear me.
So it's literally where you can see where the dry stone
So
wall
it's a
is.
dry stone wall.
That's right, all the way along where the trees are. Keep going past the cattle to the back, Go on, Linda, say it. Say you quite like it, please.
No, I do quite like it, yeah. It's got lots of potential, but whether I'm going to be around to see its potential, I don't know. There's quite a lot of work here.
And potential today, I think, is going to be the buzzword.
Okay.
Right.
And on that note,
Oh,
we're going to
gosh.
head back to the property.
All right.
And these two traditional stone-built cottages do have loads of potential. They face south, they have plenty of space, but taking them on would be quite a project.
So welcome to the first of the two cottages. Mind your head as we come through. Here's the downstairs.
Gosh, what a lovely big room.
I thought you said a little bit of work, Nicki.
It's a project.
Yes.
Yeah, it's definitely a project.
I think as we walk around, that's how you have to think of it.
Yeah.
And if John's not working full time, then you'll have plenty of time to.
Thank you.
Exactly, and you don't need to sell
DIY.
your existing place, so you've got somewhere lovely to go back to at the weekends.
True.
I think we've mapped out the next 12 months for him, really,
Okay,
haven't we?
thank you. Thank you very
12
much, ladies. Thank you. Yeah, it's very kind of you.
And some of those months may well be spent updating this small kitchen diner and the bathroom also on the ground floor. But the project doesn't stop there. I just hope John keeps an open mind upstairs.
So there are 2 bedrooms at this cottage. This is the larger of the 2 bedrooms.
Okay. Right.
Even this isn't bad, you know.
Not a bad size.
And this is a stud wall.
Right.
Yes.
So you could really open it out. Got plumbing there, there's a toilet in there.
Right.
So you could easily put an ensuite. I mean,
Yeah.
it would need a bathroom upstairs.
Yeah.
Yes.
And structurally, both the properties are actually in good condition. Obviously, there needs a major overhaul inside.
Yes. Yeah.
If it's just internal, it's fine. It's when you have to start changing things outside, you know, knocking walls down and things like that. This is when it becomes expensive. But stud walls coming down, it's
Yeah.
not expensive.
And it makes it easy, doesn't it?
You just knock them down.
I'm glad John isn't work shy. Encompassing a second bedroom to make a master suite on this side of the house is a great idea. Because if they were to knock through to the cottage next door, they would have an open plan layout for John to work with.
So come through into the second cottage.
Oh, this is certainly different. What a lovely room. This would make a great kitchen diner. Very nice. Lovely
I'm
room.
really surprised, to be quite honest.
You're softening up, both of you, as we're
Yeah,
walking
definitely,
around.
I would say.
It's because you can see the potential,
Yes,
isn't it?
yeah,
That's what it is.
That's what it is. You sort of start looking and you think, actually, this, if we could knock it right through, this would be a fabulous space from one end to the other of the cottage.
He's
and then
already got
right
it
through.
worked out.
And I think if it was done in a good quality way and you got it finished, I think you would have a stunning house here.
Yeah.
Next door to the kitchen, the living room boasts a Northumberland arch, and upstairs there's another 3 small rooms that could be turned into 2 large rooms for visitors. There's a bathroom, again in need of rejuvenation, but the garden also has a fantastic aspect with plenty of the buzzword, potential.
So I know you both love gardening, especially you, John.
Yep.
So come through into your own walled garden. Well, it's a mini walled garden, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's quite delightful.
Yeah, really nice. Very
It
nice.
needs some
Views
love
behind.
and attention.
Yes, it does.
Like the,
The whole
properties.
house.
But
Yeah.
it, you know, it is such an attractive cottage, or cottage is, and the garden, I think, is beautiful.
Yes.
So, it's going to bring us to that price, isn't it?
Yes.
How much do you think it's worth?
I'm going to be really conservative and say 380.
It does need an awful lot of work. But at the end of the day, you have what we're really looking for, really, in some respects. But I think 420.
John is closer.
Is he? Goodness me.
£395,000.
Oh,
Yes.
I nearly said 400.
Now, is that
She's making the tea tonight.
the price of the house or the fact that you lost out here? Tell me which one.
Gosh.
I think if you actually knocked it through and did it to a reasonable standard, you'd have a good-looking house.
Well, we spoke to the local estate agent who's actually got this on the market. If you did it up as one house with 4 bedrooms to a good spec, he thought the price would be around £600,000.
Really? Gosh, that's
because of the
amazing.
location
Yes.
and the land.
Goodness
Yeah,
me.
So that's not a bad return on your investment, is it?
Definitely. Well, that makes it even more interesting.
And on that note, with those lovely smiles, which I didn't think I was going to see, have another look around.
Okay.
Enjoy. I'll see you in a little while.
Thanks
Okay,
very much.
thanks very much.
Thanks.
At £395,000, this property is £55,000 under budget. It has 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. Linda loves the fact it comes with 13 acres of land, and the walled garden may have a much brighter future if John decides to get his hands dirty.
This would be sort of a dream home if it was done really well, you know, and it's somewhere that I could maybe think of living for the rest of my life. We'll just have to wait and see.
It's definitely thrown us and made us go, well, maybe we don't need to be near the sea.
The house at the end of the day is, you know, what we've probably been looking for.
Definitely.
And the land's there as well.
So have you both seen enough now?
Yep.
Yes, I think so.
I think we've ended up on a positive after a bit of a shaky start with this house.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, I think it's certainly thrown a spanner in the works, I think. And,
In a good way. Well, let's go somewhere quiet where you can have a think, 'cause you've got some decisions to make.
Lots to make.
While I was in Northumberland, I couldn't resist hopping on a boat and heading to a group of islands that have become a haven for wildlife in the summer months. These are the Farne Islands.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you later.
There are no permanent residents on the islands, man or beast. But Mike Steele, or Steely as is known, an ornithologist, lives here about 8 months of the year.
Watch your head.
Yes, and this wasn't the welcome I was expecting.
Well, this is the Farne Islands. Unexpected, exactly what you've got.
Is there somewhere safer that we
There
can
certainly
go?
is. We'll head down and we'll get out of the way of these
Thank
Arctic
you.
terns.
There's no doubt it's a tough place for humans. 23 species of bird come to the islands annually between April and August to breed. That's a staggering 85,000 pairs of seabirds. But as the tide comes in to cover half of these islands every day, real estate is at a premium. I'm not sure what the average square footage for a birdhouse is, but I can tell you that this is high-density living.
My goodness, I really wasn't expecting that. They were quite vicious.
They were attacking us. They were trying to lift our hats off and peck our heads.
Is it safe to take this off
I
now?
think it's fairly safe to take
So
it
what
off.
type of bird were they?
They were an Arctic tern, and what they were trying to do was defend their chicks and their eggs, which were just beside the pathway.
For 10 years, Mike and his team have been collecting data about all kinds of birds, and the 36,000 puffins on these islands are part of that study. These amazing little creatures live underground, and to find out more, Mike took me to visit his colleague Jason at one of the nests.
Hi, Jason. Hello.
Hi, Jason. Here you go. This is a puffin chick. He's probably about a week old looking at him, and he's been down there being fed by his parents, and he'll be down there for about 40 days.
Wow. And is the mother still in the nest?
The adult will still be down there. Jason, as part of the research, he's going to ring this bird with a very small aluminium ring.
On this island alone, there are about 15,000 pairs of this iconic little bird.
How old can a puffin be?
Well, puffins are incredible birds. They can live for about 30 years. In fact, we've actually got one on the farms, which is 31, and the record at this moment, and it's still alive, is 37 years old. And in this research, this little metal ring, this all helps contribute towards that data.
Puffins pair for life and come back every year to the same nest. Once the chicks leave home, they go for good. I bet some human parents wouldn't mind that.
I'm going to let you hold this bird.
This is the R moment, isn't it?
Keep them in your hands.
Just-
Excellent.
And this is a puffin, seeing the outside world for the first time.
Look.
And here comes an adult puffin.
The markings on them are quite extraordinary, aren't they? Beautiful.
Beautiful bills, and the grooves have actually got on their beaks. Are actually sort of, every year it gets a new groove up until 4, and then that's it. It's got 4 grooves, and that's it.
And that's
adult
it.
bird.
It's a little bit like a tree, isn't it? The rings
it
of a
is,
tree.
I've never seen so many birds in one place, and it's not just birds that come here to breed. When they finish breeding in August, it's time for the grey seals to use the island until Christmas, just like taking over a summer holiday rental, really. It's been absolutely amazing visiting these islands, and I can only imagine what it must be like to live here when you're such a bird lover like Steely.
Thank you so much. I'll leave you to your counting and research.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Bye.
Back to our house hunters. I'm sure John and Linda's feathers may be a little ruffled, as they work out whether they'll be migrating north. Right now, it's time to find out.
So Linda and John, we've certainly travelled around this county, haven't we?
Yes,
So
and
we
nearly
have.
the next.
Well, this is the first time you've bought together.
Yes.
So let's start off with the barn conversion. What did you think about that?
The land was excellent, particularly if you could rent or buy those 2 acres, plus the wonderful garden.
Yeah, that garden really made it for me.
The only problem we had with that was the fact that the windows were all on the wrong side. If they'd been on the side looking over the garden, I think that would have probably
Yes.
swung it. We might have even thought about going back and having another look at that one, I think.
We got close, didn't we?
We nearly
Very,
did it,
very
yeah.
And only
close.
5 or so miles from the
Yep.
coast.
I know.
It was wonderful.
The second property we looked at was the railway cottage. That was something else, wasn't it?
To me, that house was a good size. It had all been renovated to a very good standard. The room-
Kitchen wasn't really, that was probably the downside in that house. It
Yep.
was dark and small. We would have been struggling with knocking any walls down in that property to enlarge that kitchen. And for what we were actually looking for, the acre was really inhibiting, and that the fact that we could not buy any land in the neighbouring area.
Last but not least, we took you to see the mystery property. We travelled inland, quite a journey.
I think the great thing is the potential for the building itself is amazing. To knock that through and make it one huge long house with a wonderful sitting room, brand new kitchen, diner in it, big dining room, and you would just have a wonderful house.
Yeah, a house with lots of potential.
And the mystery house did have 13 acres.
Yes. It had what we were looking for. Getting 13 acres and a ring fence was really good.
What's the next move?
I think the next big thing for us is we're going to go back to that property and have another look.
Yeah, go round the property and down through the land, see what the perimeter is like.
And to decide what we could be doing with the house.
It's when you start knocking down walls and putting in kitchens, there's a lot to think about. But at the end of the day, you would have a really dream home.
Yes, it would be a fabulous house, I think.
Well, that's fantastic news. I mean, it has been quite a journey going round. Not only looking after you two, but bearing in mind all these four-legged friends that we've also got to house as well. But, well, it does sound like we might have got close. And if anything does happen, the next chapter, you will let us know, won't you? You will keep in touch.
Yes.
And thank you both. It's been an absolute delight.
No, thank
Well,
you.
thank
Really
you.
enjoyed
You
it.
made it very easy for us, and it's been wonderful going around with you.
Well, who would have thought it? It took great vision to see the true potential of the mystery house. But after a very shaky start, I think both John and Linda could visualise it as their first home together. Let's hope that both of them and their cattle are one hoof closer to a move to Northumberland. See you again soon.
If you'd like to escape to the country in Northern Ireland, Wales, Scotland or England and need our help, please apply online at bbc.co.uk/Be On A Show.